Good afternoon, everybody. This is Steve Lookner with Right Side Broadcasting. We are going to bring you live today coverage of the NFL player protests, which have actually already started with the one early game today. But the 1 p.m. games are supposed to start in 15 minutes. Well, the National Anthem should be in about 16 or 17 minutes. So we're going to tell you what happens during those National Anthems. There's a number of games. I want to say there's probably 8 or 9 games. I could look it up. I'm not that far off there. But we're going to tell you what happened in those games. And in terms of the national anthems, what players did, we already have some word about what's going to happen because the Pittsburgh Steelers have already come out and said they're not going to be out on the field for the national anthem. The Pittsburgh Steelers are going to stay in the locker room during the national anthem. What will other teams do? We're going to see, and we're going to tell you about it. Before we get into this, just want to make sure you guys can hear me. During those national, yes, you can. That's good. So you can hear me, and so let me also check. I want to check the schedule to see how many games there are at 1 p.m. We have a bunch of them. That's when most of the games are. So we have, boy, you go to NFL schedule on Google and it doesn't even show you the time of the games. Come on, Google. I mean, seriously, Google. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 1 o'clock games by my count. So we are probably going to hear about different things going on at most or all of those games. Okay, so I want to first tell you about what happened. We'll update you on the Pittsburgh Steelers situation. And here is a post from NFL on CBS that I will show you. If I can get it up on the screen here. There it is. Well, I gotta pause it. So you can see NFL on CBS reports Steelers head coach Mike Tomlin reveals to Jamie Erdahl that the team will not be participating in today's national anthem. So let's watch that clip. I want to just see, it's like a minute long, so we'll just see what he has to say here.
Do 100%. As a football team, it's about us remaining solid. We're not going to be divided by anything said by anyone. And that's the thing that I posted to our guys. I said, if you feel the need to do anything, I'm going to be supportive of that. As Americans, you have that right. But whatever we do, we're going to do 100%. We're going to do it together. We're not going to let divisive times or divisive individuals affect our agenda. This collection of men, we're chasing something here in 2017, and we're not going to play politics with football players, with football coaches. We're not participating in the anthem today. Not to be disrespectful to the anthem, to remove ourselves from this circumstance. People shouldn't have to choose. If a guy wants to go about his normal business and participate in the anthem, he shouldn't be forced to choose sides. If a guy feels a need to do something, he shouldn't be separated from his teammate who chooses not to. So we're not participating today. That's our decision. We're going to be 100%. We came here to play a football game. That's our intentions, and we're going to play and play to win.
To be clear, that means your team won't be on the field.
We will not be on the field.
So that is from NFL on CBS. Mike Tomlin, the coach of the Steelers, saying they will not be on the field for the national anthem. They are staying off the field for their national anthem. Are they a 1 o'clock game? They are, the Steelers is a 1 o'clock game, Steelers at Bears, so they will not be on the field. What will the other teams do? We will just have to see as these 1 o'clock games get closer. They are going to start in about 12 minutes, 13 minutes, we should start seeing what's going on at the anthems there. So as soon as we hear what happened at the anthems, we're going to let you know about it. We're covering it live today. Also, there was already one game. There's a game that started this morning. I believe it started at 9:30 Eastern in London. Really bad game. The last time I checked, the score was 44-7. But the Ravens and the Jaguars, who are playing in that game, also already protested. A number of them knelt during the anthem, and I know the Jaguars owner locked arms with some of the players during the anthem. So let me give you an update on that. Oops. Let me go back to me here, so you don't have to watch me searching through my sources. All right, so here's a little bit of a video here. So CNN posted this, and it says NFL players link arms and kneel during the national anthem of the Ravens versus Jaguars game in London. And I'll show you a little video of that. That's the Ravens right there. Players kneeling. Those are Jaguars players. More Ravens players. Again, this is from CNN, and I guess they're getting it from NFL Yahoo. Jaguars there. Sorry, I'm on there's a little bit of a delay here, so I might have given you the wrong. The Jaguars, the Ravens are in the white, the Jaguars are in the black in that clip. And there was something about the owner I want to give you as well. Let's see here. Let me see if I can get you a shot of the Jaguars owner when he was locking arms with the players. If I could type it in correctly, I could get it for you. So here is a shot of the Jaguars owner right there, Shad Khan, linking his arms with some of his players during the national anthem to show his solidarity for them and with them. And I believe he put out a statement as well. Let me see if I can get you his statement. Yeah, he said, Jaguars owner, he said it was a privilege to stand on the sidelines with the Jacksonville Jaguars today for the playing of the national anthem at Wembley Stadium. I met with our team captains prior to the game to express my support for them. All NFL players and the league following the divisive and contentious remarks made by President Trump, and was honored to be arm in arm with them, their teammates and our coaches during our anthem. Our team in the National Football League reflects our nation with diversity coming in many forms, race, faith, our views and goals. We have a lot of work to do and we can do it, but the comments by the president make it harder. That's why it was important for us and personally for me to show the world that even if we may differ at times, we can and should be united in the effort to become better as a people and a nation. So that's from the Jaguars owner, Shad Khan. So we have about, it's 12:52 right now. The 1 p.m. games obviously start at 1 p.m. Well, they usually start around 1:05 or so. And so we should be hearing in a few minutes what happens exactly in the national anthems during these 1 p.m. games. And as soon as we hear, we'll let you know about it. And I want to just get up here. I'm going to keep an eye on one of the games live here out of the corner of my eye, just so I can tell you what's going on in that one during the anthem. But I'll also keep my eyes and ears out, and I'm guessing we'll have some updates very quickly about what's going on in the different games. By the way, Christine Bestian just made a donation. Thank you, Christine, very much. We are viewer supported, so if you like our coverage here at Right Side Broadcasting, please consider making a donation, because it's your donations that keep us on the air and allow us to come on the air and cover the news for you and give you an alternative to the mainstream media. So if you'd like to donate, you can either go to the YouTube chat. Right next to the broadcast, there's a little dollar sign at the bottom of the YouTube chat. You can just click on that dollar sign. Or you can go to rsbn.tv/donate. That's rsbn.tv/donate. Also, if you have comments on these protests, or if you hear anything about the protests that are happening at the games today, and you want to give me an update I can share with our audience, give me a shout on Twitter. I am at Lookner, at Lookner. Also, you can follow Right Side on Twitter at RSB Network. And be sure, if you want to know when we're coming on the air with our news videos, we come on the air all the time with breaking news, subscribe to us on YouTube and click the notifications bell so you can get notified about when we're coming on the air. All right, I want to try to get some more updates here about what's going on. So again, Ravens and Jaguars, there's a picture over my shoulder. A number of their players knelt during the national anthem, and some who didn't kneel locked arms with each other. I don't know if the whole teams did. I haven't seen the raw footage, so I can't say categorically whether the entire team locked arms, including the people both standing and sitting. The Jaguars owner locked his arms with some of the other Jaguars players. The Pittsburgh Steelers have said at their 1 p.m. game they will not even be on the field. They will stay in the locker room during the national anthem. Not sure what's going to happen in these other games, what the protests are going to be like. We're on the air. We're just going to bring you news about that as soon as it happens, just in a few minutes here. I'm going to do a little search and see if I can find any kind of news, not newsed, news about what's happening in any of these games. Again, we have that news about the Steelers. They're going to be in the locker room. I haven't heard any kind of information about other specific teams yet, so I don't know. Will other teams not come out? I don't know. That's the only one I'm hearing about right now. Let me just show you one more shot, if I can get it up on the screen here, of... again, here is the Jacksonville Jaguars owner with a couple of his players. I'll show you that. That's that shot. And I'll just see if I can show you a little more video of what happened in London with the Jaguars-Ravens game today. Here are some different photos, actually. This person, Ashlyn Sullivan, posted them. So we have this photo, some photos from the game today. This was the London game, the early game between the Jaguars and the Ravens during the anthem. You can see even the coaches locking arms in the back, even the ones standing. Ravens players kneeling during the anthem. Ravens players standing during the anthem but locking arms. And here are some Jaguars players who are standing, also locking arms. And in just a few minutes, we're going to see some other protests, I assume. Not sure exactly what they're going to be. We'll see. Well, here's another shot of the players, some Jaguars players. So you can see, here, there's a better shot. Jaguars players from CBS News. It says about 24 players took a knee during the national anthem before Jaguars and Ravens played in London. Now, the Steelers, I have it in the corner of my eye. That's in Chicago, and they have the American flag on the field, but I don't know if they're doing the anthem yet. They're not showing the locker room, so I'm keeping my eye on that. So it looks like the national anthems are about to start, and I'll just sort of sit here and try to get information. All right, they're singing the national anthem now in Chicago, and I see like 4 coaches from the Steelers out there, and I see the Bears players locking arms. I see one Steelers player standing outside the runway, but the vast majority of the Steelers players and coaches are not on the sideline. It's basically empty. So I'm sure we'll have some photos of that soon. But really, the Steelers sideline right now during the national anthem is just empty. There were 4 coaches I saw sitting there locking arms, and 1 player I saw, but basically empty. And then on the other side of the Bears, I don't see any Bears kneeling yet. There is 1 Steelers player, number 76, who is standing on the field singing the anthem, but the rest of the players, I guess, are inside the locker room or inside at least the arena somewhere. And I don't see any Bears kneeling. So if you hear updates from the other games, let me know and I'll let you know what happened. Let's see here. I'm trying to see another game and see what's happening. Okay, in the Lions game, I saw a bunch of Lions players linking arms and a bunch of Falcons players linking arms. I'm seeing if anybody is kneeling in these games. Now, just because they're not showing people kneeling doesn't mean they're kneeling. The networks choose what to show. So, but at least so far in the Lions-Falcons game, I haven't seen any kneeling yet. I'm just seeing everybody locking arms, it looks like. Everybody that I've seen so far has their arms locked on both sides of the field, but no kneeling. So Elizabeth Luker just made a donation. Thank you so much, Elizabeth. Okay, so I didn't see. To sum up what I've seen so far, in Bears Steelers, I saw the Steelers basically weren't on the field during the anthem. There were 4 coaches and 1 player who was standing for the anthem, but otherwise the sideline was empty. On the Bears sideline, I didn't see any kneeling, but I didn't see all the players. From what they showed, I didn't see any kneeling. I saw the Bears all standing and locking arms, at least the Bears that I could see. In the Falcons game, Falcons-Lions, they had a national anthem. And the Falcons players and the Lions players that I could see were all standing and all locking arms. I didn't see any kneeling, but again, they didn't show me literally every player. So don't know what happened there. Let me see if I can get updates about the other games, what happened in them. So let's see. I'll have to do a little searching here and see if anybody is posting about what happened during the anthem. Oh, here's a picture. So we definitely have kneeling in the Broncos-Bills game. From SB Nation, they say Broncos and Bills sidelines during the national anthem. So here's what happened at the Broncos and Bills game. We have from SB Nation, we have this photo. This is the Broncos sideline. Oops. That is the Broncos sideline during the national anthem right there. That's the Broncos sideline. So a lot of players are kneeling on the Broncos sideline during the national anthem. I can see there's 1 player standing in that shot, and some of the coaches in the back seem to be standing. So a couple players standing and some of the coaches. So that's the Broncos sideline. Now let's go back and look at a picture of the... I'll retweet that. Here is from the Bills sideline during the national anthem. That's the Bills sideline. So it looks like we have players both standing and sitting, and some of the standing players have their arms on the players who are sitting, or kneeling, kneeling. So definitely we have protest at the Broncos-Bills game. Here's another photo you can see, which it says... from Ryan Konigsberg, it says large contingent of Broncos kneeling for the anthem, Von Miller included. So that's a large number of players you can see in that photo from the Broncos kneeling during the anthem. I wonder if I can get more from this. This is Rod Mackey posted. Rod Mackey says more than a third of the Broncos take a knee during the anthem. By the way, thank you, Carl Peterson and Jerry OOG, for your donations. We really appreciate it. We are viewer supported, so we appreciate your donations. Let us be on the air and cover stuff like this. If you'd like to donate, you can go to the YouTube chat right next to the broadcast. Click on the $ at the bottom of the YouTube chat, or go to rsbn.tv/donate, rsbn.tv/donate. Okay, so we've seen about a third of the Broncos players reportedly sat during the anthem. We saw some of the Bills players. I want to go to the different games and get you updates about what happened. Here is another shot of the Bills. Matthew Bove said many Bills kneeled during the national anthem, including Matt Marcel Darius and Jordan Matthews. So there's a picture of some Bills on the sideline. Here's another shot. Okay, let's look at one of the other games. We haven't talked about Browns Colts yet. Let's see what happened at the Cleveland Indianapolis game. Okay, it looks like a lot of the Browns were kneeling. So I'm going to show you this. This is the Cleveland Browns sideline today during the anthem that just happened at the Cleveland Browns sideline here. So there are the Cleveland Browns. Here's a larger part of the sideline here. You can see here that it looks like, I'm trying to count out, it looks like maybe, like half of the players in that picture are standing and half of them are kneeling. Here's another picture where you see Browns players. Another picture of Browns players. See if I can get any close-ups for you of the Browns. Oh, and here are the Colts. So the Colts were also, it was the Browns-Colts this game. And here's a picture of the Colts. A number of Colts players kneeling in that game as well. And some standing. It's a little video clip here of some Browns players during the National Anthem there. So it looks like in the Browns-Colts game, we also had a bunch of players kneeling. Okay, let's see. We haven't seen Saints-Panthers. Let's see what happened at that game between the New Orleans Saints and the Carolina Panthers. What was it like during the anthem at that game? So Joe Person says, all the Panthers who were on the field stood for the anthem. Peppers came out after the anthem was over. So it looks like the Panthers did this thing where people, if they wanted to protest the anthem, players stayed inside. No one from the Panthers actually went out and kneeled during the anthem. The ones who who wanted to make a protest stayed in during the anthem, then came out after. Now, Ashley Holder says all Panthers players stand during the national anthem. A few Saints players sit. And now, we saw that other reporters say at least one Panthers player wasn't out there during the anthem. So we don't know is how many players... no Panthers players were on the field sitting or kneeling during the anthem, but at least one, it seems like, was in the locker room during the anthem. And then this person, Steve Reed, says at least 12 Saints sit for the national anthem today, no Panthers sitting. I'm going to try to get you a better shot of the Saints players. Give me one shot. Let me see if I can get you a shot of the Saints players kneeling. Yeah, here's a shot. Here's a shot of from Michael DeMacher of a number of the Saints players sitting for the national anthems. They're actually literally sitting. They're not kneeling. They're sitting on the bench. And here's also another shot from Saints players. So we have Saints players sitting on the bench during national anthem. And then Fletcher Mackel posted this shot, which also shows you some Saints players sitting on the bench. And I haven't seen the sitting before during the national anthem, so that's new. Sorry. Again, we have the sitting during the anthem right there. The Saints players sitting. Not all of them, but some of them. And the Panthers players who were on the field were standing. I don't know if there's any more of them sitting. Saints coaches, we have some Saints coaches standing. Then we have some of the players standing with their arms on some of the players sitting. So that's from the Saints game. Okay. We haven't checked out the Dolphins-Jets game. Let's see what happened during that game. Okay, BuzzFeed News reports, New York Jets and Miami Dolphins players stood in linked arms during the anthem. Some Dolphins players did kneel. So does that mean no Jets players knelt? So here's a picture of some Dolphins players kneeling during the anthem. Here's a photo of a lot of them standing and linking arms, Dolphins players. And here's a shot of Jets players standing and linking arms. Let's see if I can get you anything else from the Jets-Dolphins game here. And we have this shot. This guy, Matt Lincoln, posted a tweet that said, owner Stephen Ross stands with Dolphins during National Anthem, but Kenny Stills and a few other take a knee. So I don't see owner Stephen Ross in that photo, so I can't confirm that. Christy Chirino said scenes from the Miami Dolphins sideline during the National Anthem. Okay, so have we... I think there's a... Oh, Giants. We didn't talk about the Giants game. What happened there? So here's a shot from the Giants game, Giants-Eagles, where we have some Giants players kneeling and some Giants kneeling and some Giants players with their arms on the players who are kneeling. See if I can find anything else here about the Giants game. Here's a shot of Giants players with their arms linked and the coaching staff with their arms linked. What did the Eagles do? Let's see. It'd be really fascinating to know on these teams. I assume they discussed different options, what were the different options discussed? Were some players upset with the option that was chosen? And this is a picture of Eagles on the Eagles sideline of them locking arms during the anthem here. Now I just saw this. What is this here? Give me 1 sec. Now, for this guy, Michael Boren posted a tweet just showing us a reporter for Philly.com. He posted a tweet with a bit of a video in it, and it says, Eagles fans and protesters clash over whether NFL players should be able to protest during National Anthem, warning strong language. So I want to show this to you just to give you a sense of what might have been going on at other stadiums today as well. This was going on at the Eagles game, and again, this was posted by Michael Boren. He is from Philly.com. There's going to be a little strong language here, so just be forewarned. There's going to be a little strong language. It's about 15 seconds long in case you don't want to listen. So I'll play this right now, just so you can see what this tweet is.
I hate you! American made! American made! Respect it! Fuck you! Love us too! We love you! Love us too! We love.
So that's just an example of, I'm guessing, some of those scenes were played out at different NFL stadiums today. Okay, we talked about Ravens Jaguars. We talked about Browns Colts. We talked about Giants Eagles. We talked about Dolphins Jets. We talked about Broncos Bills. We talked about Saints Panthers. We talked about Steelers Bears. We talked about Falcons Lions. There's 2 other games we got to check and see what happened on. Buccaneers Vikings and Texans Patriots. So let's check and see what happened at those 2 games. Okay, at the Vikings game, let's see what happened. So the Viking players, I see a picture of a lot of them standing arm in arm. Brandon McCarthy says, Vikings owners, players arm in arm for the national anthem. It's interesting because, I did think there might have been a chance today that more teams would have done something like the Steelers did. So the Steelers basically didn't come out for the national anthem. Their sideline was basically empty. And I didn't know, I thought maybe we might see some more of that, or we might see a thing where like literally everybody on the team sits during the anthem, or players turn their back or something like that. For the most part, we're seeing a lot of either most people standing and linking arms, or like some teams, some of the team, like a third or a fourth of the team kneeling and linking arms, and the other ones linking arms to them. And I guess there's I know one case it seemed like more than like around half or more of the players were kneeling for the anthem. But it's interesting to see what the teams ended up settling on. So this is a shot of the Vikings owners players. They mostly appear to be standing and linking arms. See if I can find anything else about the Vikings. Here's another shot of them. From Dave Schwartz. It says the Vikings players, coaches, and ownership all lock arms and stand for today's national anthem. This also says, Aj Mansour says, Wilf ownership group locks arms with Vikings players for national anthem. So at least in that shot of the Vikings, we don't see anybody kneeling. And then Colleen Kelly posted, Vikings owners, general manager linked arms with team during national anthem. Some Buccaneers knelt. So it looks like the Vikings did not kneel. Here's a shot of some of the Buccaneers players kneeling. That's Mike Evans right there. So some other Buccaneers players kneeling. That's the Vikings sideline. We see people standing and linking arms. See if I can get you anything else about the Buccaneers. So some Buccaneers were standing, some were sitting. There's some standing Buccaneers. I'll show you the kneeling ones. Kneeling, Mike Evans there. I can't tell if that's Jameis Winston or not. Their quarterback. I'll tell you in a second. No, it's not, because that's number 11 and Jameis Winston's number 3. Okay, so the Vikings basically stood, as far as we can tell, and some of the Buccaneers kneeled, while it seemed like more of them stood than kneel. And now, it's also interesting that these guys, so Mike Evans and this other player from the Buccaneers, they're kneeling, but they're not doing the thing where they're like linking arms with the other teammates. They're kind of on their own. I'm not sure why that is. I'm sure there's some reason. Now, the last game we hadn't checked yet was Texans-Patriots. So let's see what happened in that game. Jeff Howe says, 16 Patriots took a knee during the anthem. Many others, including Tom Brady, lock arms. So you can see there, that's a photo, and the kneeling ones, I seem to be able to see in that photo, they're not standing up front. They're standing a little to the right in the back there. They're kneeling a little on the right. So if you look about 3/5 of the way across the screen toward the right, you see behind the player standing a row of Patriots kneeling. So some standing, some kneeling. It's also interesting, there's a shot where it's not like we have the players kneeling and the standing players next to them. In this one, the standing players are standing apart for the players who are kneeling. So I don't know, on a team like this, when the standing players are standing apart from the players kneeling, does that mean like that there was like a big disagreement and the standing players were like, we're not going to put our arms on you guys because we strongly disagree? I don't know. Because some team, the kneeling players were like holding hands or connecting arms with the players who were standing, and they were like all in a single row. Whereas in other pictures we've seen, the kneeling players are separated off from the players who are standing. Don't know how much to read into that. And then Greg Bailey says all of the Houston Texans stand for the national anthem. Let me show you that tweet. Greg Bailey says all Texans stand for anthem. Some Patriots players kneel and are booed briefly. The booing's an interesting point. I saw somebody else posted and said they thought they'd heard boos at the Giants game, but unless you're there, it's hard to tell whether there was booing or not. I mean, I guess you could maybe hear it on TV in some of the stadiums, but sometimes on TV they have the sound from the anthem piped in, and you wouldn't necessarily hear the crowd noise. So it's an interesting question. Maybe I'll do a search and see if people were booed during the anthem. Here's a more of a close-up from Boston Sports Report. They posted this of the Patriots players kneeling. Some of them, we heard a report of about a third kneeling during the anthem. Texas players joining arms on the other side. And then here's another shot of some of the Patriots players kneeling for the anthem. And that's a second report. That's a second report. Let's see. Here. Hey guys, I'm sorry. There was a little bit of a black screen that came up. We've been having a bit of an issue with YouTube lately, where it's an issue on their end where a black screen just comes up in the middle of our broadcast. As best we can tell, it's like some kind of system like malfunctioning at YouTube, and that's what seems to be going on. But if that does happen in the future, just know it'll last a few seconds and then we'll come back on. So we apologize for the black screen. Just know if you're watching our broadcasts and that happens, it's just a YouTube malfunction. It's not our fault. They haven't fixed it yet. We've been talking to them about it for like a month now. So just so you know, it's their fault. We'll continue to report it to them. I hope they fix it. It's really bad that they can't fix this issue. But know that when you see that black screen during one of our broadcasts, it's YouTube's fault. We're still on the air, and it'll be a few seconds, and then we'll come back on the air. So we apologize for that. We're apologizing even though it's not our fault. It's YouTube's fault. I don't know why they can't fix it. So again, there's some Patriots players kneeling for the anthem. And let's see. Here's some other pictures. And this is another tweet which says, Patriots players kneel for anthem and fans in Foxborough boo. We've heard, I saw some different reporting about boos at different stadiums, say for fans who, for players who knelt. I can't say how widespread the boos were. I'd be interested in knowing, but it's hard to tell. Even if you watch on TV, it's hard to tell what the crowd is doing because you mostly hear the anthem. So I'll be interested in hearing what kind of boos happened at the different stadiums today, if any. Okay, the last game we haven't spoken about is, was that the last one? This might have been the last one. Patriots, Texans, we did Vikings, Buccaneers, we did Bears, Panthers. I don't know what the Bears did during their anthem. I'll have to look up what the Bears did. So it is quite interesting though. Some teams, the Steelers didn't come out at all basically for the anthem. They stayed in the locker room. Every other team came out for the anthem. Some teams, everybody stood, and they locked arms. Some teams, some players knelt, some players stood, and they all locked arms. Some teams, some players knelt, and they were set aside from the other players, and they weren't locking arms with them. So maybe there were just different opinions on different teams about what they should do about this. I'm guessing there might have been some heated arguments too. Who knows though? I wasn't there, so I can't say. I just want to look up. I want to look up what happened in what the Bears did during their anthem. Oh, here's the Steelers sideline during their anthem. Steelers sideline, it's basically empty during the national anthem. The vast majority of the Steelers players and coaches were in the locker room. And then the Bears talk says the Bears were locking arms during the national anthem. There's a shot of the Bears sideline where they're standing but they're locking arms. Oops, sorry. So the Bears are standing but they're locking arms. Here's a shot of some Bears players during the anthem. Here's a shot of some Texans players during the anthem. Some Lions players. And some Patriots players kneeling during the anthem. Again, We apologize for that black screen that came on earlier for a few seconds. It wasn't our fault. It's a YouTube malfunction. We've been trying to get them to fix it for a month, and they haven't fixed it. But if you see a black screen like that come up during our broadcast, it'll be off in a few seconds. We're still on the air. It's not us. It's a YouTube thing. So you're watching Right Side Broadcasting's our live coverage of the NFL player protests during the National Anthem today. Be sure, if you want to find out about our breaking news videos like this, subscribe to us on YouTube and click on the notifications bell so you get notified about our broadcasts when they come on the air. Also, we really appreciate a number of you donated today. One person donated, I didn't even get to thank them. Frank Sorley donated. Thank you, Frank, so much. From Norway donated. The donations just keep us on the air. We are very small. Our budget to stay on the air basically comes from your donations. So if you like having an alternative to the mainstream media, if you like our coverage, please consider making a donation. You can donate by going to the YouTube chat room right next to the broadcast. There's a $sign at the bottom of the chat room. You can just click on that $sign. Or you can go to rsbn.tv/donate. That's rsbn.tv/donate. Also, in a moment, I'm going to take some of your comments. So if you have thoughts on what happened today or any updates you want to share, at Lookner on Twitter. Write to me at Lookner on Twitter. Feel free to follow me as well. I cover breaking news stuff all the time on my Twitter. Also, you can follow Right Side Broadcasting at RSB Network on Twitter. And if you're watching this on Facebook or YouTube and you like the video, we love when you share the video on Facebook or like it on YouTube, because we don't have the money to advertise. We're really small. So when you share the video on Facebook or like it on YouTube, that really helps get the word out about Right Side, and we appreciate that. Thanks so much to the moderators, JC and Jan, and other moderators. I know Jude's been watching for moderating the chat rooms today. So we've gone around the league. We've seen what happened at the different protests. I think we covered all the games. And I want to get to your comments and hear what you have to say about this. So write to me at Lookner. Let me know your thoughts on this. Let's see. Morozowska says shame. So MoMA was not in favor of the protests. Pope Robert E. Lee II says, Steve brings the greatest perspective to the news. Thank you, Pope Robert E. Lee. We just try to give you agenda-free news coverage here at Right Side Broadcasting. Let's see. Buzzy Ann says, hey, Steve Lookner, do we have any coverage yet of audience reaction? So a couple people on Twitter, a few people at different games said they heard boos. I haven't seen any audience shots. I don't think the networks were probably showing audience shots much, if at all, because, they don't want to get something, for all you know, somebody's giving the finger, or you don't know what the audience is going to do, and they try to stay away from offensive stuff on the networks. So I'm guessing there might not, I don't know if there were audience shots. Maybe there were, but I haven't seen any of them yet, at least. Let's see. Mr. Brooks says, a sad day. Thank God for college football. Now to wash my car. Mitch Garcia says, don't watch it. Don't report on it. Ignore the NFL completely. Reporting on it gives them a voice. Rob Shee says, if you're a fool and you know it, take a knee. Timothy says, boycott them all, commie bastards. Melinda Lewis says, how disrespectful, you guys. You are teaching our kids to disrespect our country and people who fought and some died for our freedoms. So a number of you are not in favor of the protest and seem upset by them today. Let me know your view. I'm happy to share your comment, whichever way you stand on this. Write to me at Lookner on Twitter. Hank, I got your message about the black screen problem. Yeah, I'll check out your message later. Thanks for sending that in. We've been looking into it. Let's see here. I Stand With Trump sent a statement from Jim Irsay, the owner of the Colts. So let's check that out. So Colts owner Jim Irsay says, I am troubled by the president's recent comments about our league and our players. Sports in America have the unique ability to bring people from all walks of life and from different points of view together to work toward or root toward for a common goal. And the Indianapolis Colts are proud to be a part of that tradition in our home city, in our state. The vast majority of players in the NFL, especially those who have worn and continue to wear the horseshoe, have donated millions to charities, raised money for those affected by recent hurricanes, created charitable foundations, visited schools, mentored students, worked in homeless shelters, cleaned up parks, and put in hours of their personal time toward improving the communities and the lives of those around them. The rest of the statement says that's the spirit in which this nation was founded, and we all need to work tirelessly to bring people together to take on the challenges that face us and give back to the people of our communities. More so than any result on the field, this is a common goal worth rooting for. You know, I will say this: a number of the statements it's a statement from the NFL commissioner and some of the NFL owners that I've seen, like this one, and the NBA commissioner. They avoid saying we support the players who are protesting in their protests. Like a lot of them do something like this one, which says like, I'm troubled by the president's statements, and then it says like, sports bring people together and our players do these good things, but nowhere in the statement does it say, yeah, and we support the players who protest. So it's interesting to me that you don't, in a number of these statements that I've seen, see the words like some kind of like stronger support for the players. And Roger Goodell's statement didn't say, we support the players who protest at all. So I'm guessing they're trying to do some kind of balancing act where they show the players they care and support them, but don't try to not upset their paying fan base who doesn't like the part of that paying fan base who doesn't like the protests. So they do this middle ground kind of thing. A lot of them. And I've heard from a couple, Joe, our CEO, texted me earlier, and Sephirin wrote me. The Associated Press is saying 6 people were injured in a church shooting outside Nashville. We'll keep following that. If there are big updates on that later, maybe we'll come back on the air. But I'll also tweet out on my Twitter about it. I follow breaking news on Twitter. So if there are big updates on that, I'll tweet them out. You can follow me at Lookner, at Lookner. So we'll keep an eye on that later today. Dave writes in, I think it's great they're taking a knee. Now we'll know which players we should not support since they don't stand with the USA. Amy Margolin says, also the sporting goods stores will be affected with lower sales due to the NFL boycott. Amy Howell says, thank you for the Facebook Live on NFL. Tweet out a list of teams that take the knee. I will leave it up to you to tweet out things about this. Oh, and it's another black screen. Guys, really sorry here about these black screens. Sorry, I'm just texting our CEO. So this is, I really apologize, guys. This is not our fault. It's a YouTube issue. We've been complaining for a month about this issue with YouTube and the black screens that just come up during the broadcasts. And we've talked to them about it, and they say they're working on it, but it hasn't gotten fixed. And so again, I'm sorry, and I'm just letting our CEO know this is happening, and he's aware of it too, and he's been in touch with YouTube. So again, I just apologize. I just apologize for this. I'm really sorry. And just as I said before, if a black screen comes on during one of our broadcasts, it'll be up there a few seconds and go off. But I'm really sorry about it. It really bothers me. It just gets in the way of the broadcast. And some people tune in and they don't know, oh, hey, this happens commonly. They think, oh, the broadcast is over, and they tune out and they don't realize we're still on the air. And then also, you can't even hear what I'm saying because there's a black screen. So I really apologize, guys. We'll be in touch with them later today, but it's really upsetting to me. So I don't even know if you heard these comments. I read a few comments. One of them said, thank you. Amy Howell said, thank you for the Facebook Live on NFL. tweet out a list of teams that take the knee, and I said, well, you can tweet out whatever you want about this. We're just giving you the news. Amy Margolin said, also the sporting goods stores will be affected with lower sales due to the NFL boycott. Dave said, I think it's great they're taking a knee. Now we'll know which players we shouldn't support since they don't stand with the USA. Thank you if you can keep it for the update about the black screens. And again, we apologize. Just know if they happen, they'll be on for a few seconds. It's not our fault, and we'll be back on the air. Let's see here. JC writes in, one of our moderators, Steve, a ton of people want to know what locking arms means. That just means when you all do this and each person locks the arms like they're doing on that photo there. See how they each lock arms with each other? That's locking arms. That's what it is. Sewer Drainer says, if NFL players opt to stay in their locker room during the national anthem, they should be confined to the locker room for the game. The word game is missing, but I believe that's what Sewer Drainer said. Yes, Pope Robert E. Lee, I already mentioned the Nashville shooting at a church. There reportedly was a shooting at a Nashville church or near a Nashville church. I heard a report of several people injured. We will be keeping an eye on that after this stream today. Vicky Tama sent me a tweet, and Vicky Tama, this was a tweet from Tom Curran, who is from Pat's Insider, and he says, boos and chants of stand up as the anthem begins with a few Patriots taking a knee in front of the bench. I want to see if there are any more reports of boos. Chris Emma says, the Steelers entered Soldier Field in Chicago to loud boos after remaining behind for the national anthem. So I guess at Chicago there was a lot of booing for the Steelers players. Oh, I think we have some video of the boos. Stacey Dales posted this. Let's watch this. Stacey Dales says, Steelers players taking Soldier Field post anthem to a chorus of boos. Let's watch this video. So there was definitely strong booing in Chicago for the Steelers players who didn't go out there for the anthem and stayed inside during the anthem. This is the Patriots game. At the Patriots game, there were many boos from fans. I think I already read this. Maybe a different reporter. I think I read something from similar from a different reporter. There were many boos from fans. This is the Patriots-Texans game, including some screaming "Stand up" while the national anthem was beginning. I'm going to post that. Hold on a second. Who is this? And I'm also seeing this from, I guess at New England, people were unhappy. This is New England. Loud boos from the crowd before and after the anthem. That's from the Patriots game as well. So we've heard that in Chicago and in the New England Patriots game, there were loud boos. Let's see if I can find anything else. Falcons Lions, Justin Felder says, by my count, 2 Falcons players and 8 Lions players were kneeling during the national anthem. There were boos from some fans. Oh, black screen again. Sorry, guys. I know the black screen just happened again. It's a big problem. I'm talking to our CEO about it. We're going to have to contact YouTube again. Again, if a black screen comes on, this is a YouTube malfunction. It'll be off in a few seconds. It's not our fault. And we're just... we've been complaining about it for a month to YouTube, and we're really sorry about it. We're doing our best here. I just don't know why it's happening. It's ridiculous. So the boos were for the players who were kneeling. The players who were kneeling. That's my understanding of what the boos were for. And again, sorry about that black screen, folks. If it happens again, it's just for a few seconds. Just looking for more reports about boos. Here's another video from Pittsburgh. Steelers players Steelers players take the field to a chorus of boos just after the national anthem concludes. I don't know if that person's watching it on TV or something, because you can't really hear the sound from the stadium in that one. So, anyways... All right, so we've looked at the different stadiums. We talked about the different protests. I think, by the way, I just want to see if other people wrote in. Let's see here. Greg Jackson wrote in, subject, how disgusting. How is protesting the national anthem a protest against the office of the president? Granted, the president is the leader of the country, but he is actually subservient to the principle of the anthem. He is certainly not the embodiment of the anthem. Therefore, any protest against the anthem effectively elevates the office of president to a power which he does not have. What none of the proponents will admit is the true sentiment behind these protests. It is a protest against America and what it stands for. Their desire to remove the basic right of freedom from those who are considered undesirables. It has nothing to do with Trump, but since he is the symbol of those undesirables, he is the focus. Let's not forget the NFL would not allow helmet decals in support of slain police officers. This has been a growing anti-American sentiment that attracts the youth, spurred on by abundant availability of drugs. These resistors have exhibited their unbeknownst mental handicaps whenever a conversation is attempted. They have reduced themselves to a slogan mentality incapable of a coherent thought process. It is on display right now in Germany with chants of refugees are welcome here. These children have become a wayward generation, and considering the current educational system, there is little hope of their success in life. That is from viewer Greg Jackson. Greg also says the black screens on your broadcast are happening much more than usual today. I fully suspect someone at YouTube is doing this since I've never seen this on any other live stream. So, Greg, it has occurred on a number of other live streams, although this today is the most I've ever seen it. And again, as far as we know, it's just a YouTube malfunction, and we'll be in contact with them again about it. You're watching Right Side Broadcasting's live coverage of the NFL Anthem protest today. Be sure to subscribe to us on YouTube so you get notified about all of our breaking news videos when we come on the air. We do them throughout the day and evening, and at different times when there's breaking news. So subscribe to YouTube, subscribe to us on YouTube, and click the notifications bell. Also, we are viewer supported, so if you enjoy our coverage, if you enjoy having, I don't think probably no network is doing full coverage like this of the protests today. So if you enjoy having this alternative to the mainstream media, please consider donating, because your donations are what keeps us on the air. We rely on you for your support to stay on the air. So if you'd like to donate, go to the YouTube chat room and click the $ at the bottom of the chat room. There's a little $ there you can click on, donate that way, or go to rsbn.tv/donate, rsbn.tv/donate. Even small donations are welcome. If everybody watched, gave like $1, who watches our videos, we'd be able to stay on the air indefinitely. Anyways, we appreciate the people who've donated so far today. Thank you so much. Thank you to the moderators in the chat room for moderating the chat. Also, you can follow us on Twitter at RSB Network, and I am on Twitter at Lookner, and I will be updating on breaking news throughout today and all days. I post a lot of breaking news stuff on my Twitter if you like that kind of thing. On Facebook, we're Right Side Broadcasting too. If you can keep it, writes, NFL teams can sit out if they like. It is their constitutional right, but we are free to not support. Owners and players sabotaging the game with consequences that will ultimately trickle down to college and even high school football. How many will pursue a pro career if they get paid 5% of what they do now? Denise Collins says, not sure how booze will deter this anti-American mindset. These players are from hood America. Their idols are gangsters and drug dealers. Again, we'll read your comments either way. These are not the opinions of Right Side, any of these opinions. We want to give you guys a forum, a place where you're not being censored either way. So if somebody wants to write in and say, I really support these players and why, you're welcome to write in and I'll read your comment. We try to not censor the comments unless they're really, patently offensive, that kind of thing. So feel free to write in and give me your opinion on this view. But thank you, Denise, for writing in. James Stevens says, I feel there's a lot more going on here than the race issue. I think it is the NFL players who are lashing back at President Trump. So you think maybe this is more directed at President Trump than some people say it is. Michael Longo says, boycott, boycott, boycott. Patriotas Pro Vida says, add that to the anthem before opener versus KC, in which all the Patriots players stood. You have one pissed fan. I'm not sure. Oh, I don't remember what happened in the anthem before in the season opener versus Kansas City. Don't remember that, Patriotas Pro Vida. Feel free to write back and let me know. Heatman says, why would anyone be at this circus? Oh, I wonder if I can get a little information about that one Steelers player who stood outside and actually stood during the anthem. Here's a story from the Washington Post. As Steelers remain in locker room for anthem, former Army Ranger Alejandro Villanueva stands alone. And it says, in Chicago, the Bears linked arms on the sidelines while the vast majority of Steelers players abandoned them entirely. Here's a tweet right here from Master Tess Fatzian. The Steelers were not on the sidelines during the national anthem, but left tackle Alejandro Villanueva, who served in the Army, stood by the tunnel. So he served 3 tours of duty in Afghanistan, and he stood outside the tunnel, hand over his heart, singing along. The rest of the Steelers remained inside, which you can see. This is from the Washington Post today. So that's who that guy was, standing for the anthem in Pittsburgh. Again, just a heads up, if we have another of those weird YouTube black screens from the YouTube malfunction, it'll only be on for a few seconds. We're not off the air. So just so you know. El Conservador says, Mr. Kraft, you sold out your fans. He's talking about Robert Kraft, the Patriots owner. Mr. Kraft, you sold out your fans who are hardworking and patriotic citizens. No wonder you didn't fight hard for Brady. So Robert Kraft, before the game today, released a statement negative toward President Trump. He's the owner of the Patriots. You can see right here, New England Patriots. Statement from Robert Kraft. I am deeply disappointed by the tone of the comments made by the president on Friday. I am proud to be associated with many players who make such tremendous contributions and positively impacting our communities and so forth. So I'll let you, you can go to the New England Patriots Twitter and read that statement if you want. But the person who just wrote in was upset with Robert Kraft for making this statement here, because I'm assuming because he criticized President Trump. Some other people maybe liked Robert Kraft's statement today. That was 6 hours ago. Let's see. I wanted to check some more of your messages. Make sure I got to them. Alex Javier says, it's funny the NFL doesn't pay taxes. Now with those moronic misinformed players, I guess they'll just have to have no viewership and job. I vaguely remember reading something about NFL and taxes a couple of years ago, but I need to refresh my memory on that. So that's something I got to go back and do some research on. And I don't know if it was like they got a tax break in some sense. I'm not sure. I got to look that up. Gonzoville sent me a tweet by this guy, Mike Petraglia, which says it was surreal to see the Patriots getting booed by their own fans. Okay, I think at this point, so we've talked about all the protests at the different games. We let you see some video and some photos, some video clips posted that people posted and some photos of it, and gave you a sense about what happened. There'll be some more games we'll keep an eye on. The later games today, and there's a Sunday night game and a Monday night game. I don't think we'll be coming on live for every single game, but we'll let you know about what happens. I'll post, if big stuff happens, I'll post it on my Twitter account @Lookner, so you can follow me there if you'd like. And thank you everybody who joined us today for this stream. Thank you to the chat moderators for moderating the chat so much. Thank you to everybody who wrote in their comments and shared their views and also gave me news tips today. Appreciate that. Please subscribe to us on YouTube and click the notifications bell so you know when we're coming on the air. We do these videos all the time, live breaking news videos. So subscribe to us on YouTube so you get and click the notifications bell so you get notified whenever we come on the air with a new live coverage video. Also, thanks to the donors today so much. The donors keep us on the air. We can't stay on the air without donations. So if you like our coverage, please consider donating. You can go to the bottom of the YouTube chat, there's a $sign there. You can click on the $sign, or you can go to rsbn.tv/donate, rsbn.tv/donate. One of the options on this page is you can get free stuff like this right side mug in exchange for making monthly donations. So if you want to find out how to get free right side stuff in exchange for a monthly donation, you can find out about that at rsbn.tv/donate. And you can follow us on Facebook, Right Side Broadcasting. Follow us on Twitter @RSB Network, and we'll continue to bring you breaking news coverage about what happens in the world. Even when the mainstream media isn't covering it that much, we will cover it for you because we want to cover what's important. So we'll just come on the air when we think something's important and cover it for as long as it takes. Okay, so that's it for now. Thank you so much for joining us here at Right Side Broadcasting. Hope you have a good rest of your day, and like I said before, today, as always, or tonight, when there's breaking news, we'll be back on the air covering it. But for now, I am Steve Lookner here with Right Side Broadcasting. We're wishing you all a good day. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and we will see you soon.